Welcome back to Primary Source China Investment. Peng Guo and I are here with show 02. And as we head into the end of the year, we wanted to talk a little bit about what might happen next year. Where is the growth going to come from in 2022 in China? And we're not playing the GDP game here. We've already demonstrated that GDP growth is a horrible predictor of equity returns. So what are we talking about? Well, let's focus on the industries that government seems to be favoring and what policies are being implemented are going to continue in the coming year. And the first area we want to focus on is that China is still the world's biggest polluter, and China is still doing the most to combat that pollution. So what's that trend mean, and what does it look like from an investment perspective? It means renewable energy, and that's going to account for almost all new power generation in the next decade. It was already a record year in 2021 for solar and wind energy installation. More than 290 gigawatts of energy were installed in China. On current trend, renewable energy generation capacity will exceed that of fossil fuels and nuclear energy combined by 2026. For China specifically, China installed the most renewable energy capacity this year and is now expected to reach 1,200 gigawatts of wind and solar capacity in 2026, 4 years ahead of its 2030 target. So this is a trend that is in place. It's not going away. I will also add nuclear energy to that because nuclear energy is the new clean energy. So there is a trend in place. There are companies that do that. We're going to put a list of them up, and there are indices that track that.
Renewable energy definitely is a huge topic. So I think people very easy get lost. But in China, during the past, like the long history, they always a lack of the energy. So they are lack of the crude oil. For the coal, they have it, but the coal, burn the coal, they always cause a lot of the pollution. That's a big problem. I think right now they still not solve the problem. Electricity is like the, so people maybe have no sense how much electricity China needed. So if you say it, it's much bigger than entire Europe. So I think China really right now try to build the next infrastructure and the entire industry structure change. So traditionally, they use the infrastructure as a major driver for the economy. I think right now probably still follow the same way, but they call the new infrastructure. So the renewable energy and whatever related to generate energy, deliver energy, and as well as the stored energy related stuff. This is all they call like the infrastructure, but it's new. Yeah. So this is still the big topic in China. So and also this get the country's policies support for the long run. And that's I think definitely in this area the big problem is so many changes and a lot of companies they adjust their core business. So it's and that's a new sub industry get a pop up. I think the current industry classification get a bigger problem. Yeah. So they have to follow up with the faster change in China, carefully select the company in the right sectors and put them together. And based on that, and then you can do the fundamental analysis. Otherwise, if you easily, you probably see the current index, easily put a lot of the improper companies into the sectors. So that's very cause some of the confusion.
Yeah, that's true. The other thing is, remember, energy generation, power generation in China is a restricted industry. So foreign companies can't participate. So that means all of this growth is going to come from domestic companies.
I don't not necessarily true, because all the international companies, they can participate in the process through the supply chain. And obviously, like the nuclear electricity.
They can supply. Yeah, they can supply.
Yeah, they can do the supply. They can do the consulting service. They can build the entire chain. Most of the time, a lot of the core technologies or products or skills, even they just supply the special parts, they can still make a very good profit.
Yeah, they're not the operators, though. I get it. Yeah, so you have the supplier, and then you also have the operator. And the operator has to be domestic.
Yeah, you have to most of the time you have to analyze the entire supply chain. So upstream, downstream, find the right companies, put it in the right sectors. I think in this area, that's have a lot of improvement.
Yeah, I totally agree. So the second area that I wanted to talk about is healthcare. I think healthcare is very broad. People talking about it a lot, but what does it really mean? So there is a program, a policy in place called Healthy China 2030. It doesn't quite have the sizzle of some of the other policy initiatives, but it will have a massive impact and presents opportunities for many companies providing services and solutions. Healthy China 2030 stresses disease prevention, health promotion, life cycle health. There's a number of very targeted campaigns, including health literacy, reducing obesity, promoting physical exercise, tobacco-free zones, mental health literacy. A lot of people say China's going to get old before it gets rich. I think it might get diabetes before it gets rich. And the solution is not going to come from Eli Lilly or their product Jardiance. It's going to be a domestic firm that comes up with these solutions.
Yeah, we have the deeply researched China healthcare area. We created a totally new China healthcare index. So that is they have the same problem I just mentioned. So we reorganize the entire sectors. Most of the people, they spend 70% of the expense in the whole life in healthcare after the 60s.
That's a leverage effect.
Yeah, I think in China, this is really like the big change. One is related to the policy. So government try to squeeze out like the middle of the broker in the healthcare industry. Another problem is it's very hot right now. A lot of the VC and the private capital's money flow into this area, starting so many, it looks like the fancy projects. But I bet a lot of them could be the bubble. And you have to, but there are always some great companies grow up from such kind of the bubble due to the huge populations. So that really depends on how they think the entire process resources together to improve their research and new development capabilities.
It does link pretty closely with our final topic, which is obviously the China tech, because health tech is something that a lot of people are talking and investing in as well. But homegrown China tech, a lot of the domestic companies that are ramping up their technology, they're ramping up particularly in the semiconductor space. And we continue to believe that US tech companies are going to find their way home, back to the mainland or back to Hong Kong. But that's not the only cohort that's going to perform well. And there's a lot of companies that are small, not listed in the VC stage that will have to go public, that will list in China, maybe the Star Exchange or maybe the Beijing. So those are things to look out for in the coming 2022.
That's right. The technology, no matter in which industry, is a very hot topic. But the big problem is the life cycle is short. So as soon as you get a new technology, you always need to get a continue grow. You can just not stop there.
Yeah, you need new technology.
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is why United States and China, they get a lot of the cooperation opportunities due to the huge market. For example, like the battery. So I have some friends doing like the battery research or something. So as soon as you get new technology, and you can immediately get the increase capacities and get a market and get a return, and then for the next round of the research. Yeah, another pretty good thing in China is they allow you to doing the testing. So because they don't know which technology could win. When they just bet everything. I think a lot of the international venture capitals also focus on those areas. So they see the entire global growth, and they can quickly push this new technology into the commercial product.
Yeah, this follows the policy, right? So we know that China is really pushing this clean energy, clean tech. So whether that's going to be electric vehicles, whether that's going to be clean energy, whether that's going to be nuclear power, all of these themes are firmly entrenched, will continue through 2022. So this is not necessarily about looking about what has done well, what will continue to do well. It's about understanding this policy and how to implement that. I mean, Peng Guo, your point is really is very, very subtle, but important here, that if you're just looking at the index, it may be hard to discern who are those winners and losers because they may have been miscategorized in the industry from 10 years ago.
That's true.
So there's a lot to digest, but 2022, a lot of the things that are in place now will continue to be in place. We'll continue to watch them. If we're not on for next week, have a very Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year, whatever you celebrate, enjoy that, be with friends and family, and we'll catch you on the other side. Thank you so much.
Yeah, enjoy the holiday. Happy holidays, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.